Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Secretary Jewell. All of you were not able to join us previously in September. I'm pleased that you are finally here with us today. I greatly appreciate that. I want to go with the same line of thought here. Why, if we have determined that the testing of the water was important, but it was not done, there was a change of personnel, and that change of personnel created urgency that this needs to be done, but we don't know who that change of personnel was. Why, aren't those important questions? How can we hold someone accountable if we're not even going to look into these type of questions?
Well, as said over and over again, our work was a technical review. I don't want to make assumptions on whether there was urgency or not urgency to do the work. We've done the scope of the review based on the information that we were provided at the time. The investigation of intent and so on is an ongoing work that's being conducted by the EPA.
It doesn't seem like it's that much of an investigation to find out there was an urgent decision made. Otherwise, the BOR that would have been waiting a delay before opening the proceeding, and the water took off. Let me go back to the September hearing. There was one of the individuals we had giving testimony from the state of Mexico stated clearly that the involvement from the Department of Interior following the disaster was non-existent. That's an extremely strong word, non-existent. He did clarify that your department had put a press release stating that you were preparing an investigation, but with no details on what the scope of that investigation would be. The scope is kind of important in this whole thing. It's something, again, that we had planned to ask you, but you were not here. What is, and I know you've said to some extent, but what was your personal involvement in managing the disaster following the blowout?
Well, let me just say that the facts demonstrate that we were very active from day one.
I'm asking about you. Did you visit the site?
I have not visited the site. Others with much more technical knowledge have visited the site, including my deputy secretary. I have not personally visited the site, nor did I feel that it was important to do so because of the level of resources and expertise that we had engaged at multiple levels.
Your predecessor visited the site in the Gulf of Mexico, the Deepwater Horizon spill that was caused there by a private sector business. And again, I'll follow up on the questions from my colleague, Mr. Labrador. Why is there a double standard? Why was a visit in the Deepwater Horizon case immediately from someone in your position taking place? Now we have something, a disaster from the EPA, and to this day you still have not visited the site. Why is there a double standard?
Well, I don't believe there is a double standard. The Department of the Interior was a primary regulator in the offshore oil incident in the Deepwater Horizon. EPA was the primary regulator involved here. Deepwater Horizon was a very different incident with very different implications, including killing 11 people. This spill, while significant and something we're all learning lessons from, does not compare in magnitude at all to the Deepwater
So if this was
situation.
private sector business involved, you would not have visited the site? You would not have visited the site?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
If the EPA was not involved in here, but a private business was involved in this disaster, you're saying still would not have been interested in visiting the site?
It's not a question of interest, sir. I do not believe it would be appropriate for me to necessarily visit the site. It would be the regulator that was most closely involved. This is a private land site. The state was involved.
But it comes under your jurisdiction, and it was a disaster which much less disasters people have gone to jail for in the private sector. But you've still not the site. Let me go on. I've still got tons of questions here. The fees. The administration has proposed an AMA on hard rock mines. This is potentially going to create a very great hardship involved, and I see my time is running out. But Mr. Chairman, this is precisely why I've introduced H.R. 3845 or 44, the Energy and Minerals Reclamation Foundation Establishment Act, to help get the private sector involved in developing a foundation to address the issues that we are discussing here today. And with that, sir, I yield my time back. Thank you.